Hello, welcome to Frank's School. 152nd day, 5th year. Portugal in the Alps, prequels. This is my third prequel. This is the section of it, K, and the last of this prequel, this trip of 1970 that I'll do. And I just want to very briefly talk about London. London in miniature, you might say. Because what I'm doing here, this is for you. Well, it's the prequels are I'm trying to show what your trip could be like. Anyway, what was formative? I don't suggest that you go to London. I mean, go, sure, go, but not on my account. But in this whole thing, I've been trying to point out what was formative in my thinking, because pretty clearly I think differently from others. And the thing that stands out in my mind, I have some memories of London, even though this was 46 years ago. It was probably in late September by now, or at least in September by now, of 1970. I have some memories. We stayed with a friend of Joyce's that had been in school with her, I think. I think her name was Debbie, I think. We stayed 2 nights maybe or so, and I remember a little bit. But anyway, what the thing was formative was this was the first time I went to the British Museum. And the British Museum, of course, is spectacular, unbelievable, wonderful place. You could spend a week there. It's like the Louvre in a way, but I don't remember that much except for one thing, and that was in the gift shop, I think. There I found that I could buy postcards, and I was so taken with these postcards. They're postcards. I'm not going to go through them all because I'm going to show you in just a minute where you can see them well. These are of a Flemish calendar, but the thing about it is they are actual size. That is the size that they were. I don't know, do you call it painted? They were illuminated. And I often would show to my students, trying to dazzle them, maybe I've already passed it, the one for December. It goes through the months of the year and shows what people were doing. And I really, there it's all worn out. I really do hope you study this in images. There is December, a woman is baking bread in front. But what I would point out to the students is in the back, in a field, beyond the bake oven, you can see a deer running. Well, you can see a hunter. And he's standing behind a tree. And deer are running, and they're jumping over a gate in a fence, chased by a dog, and you can even see that one of them is a buck. Now, how that can be done, I still just find it unbelievable. I was so taken with these. I bought the whole series of the whole year, the 12 of them. And then there was another series too, which I think I got them all, and for a long time I had them on display. The whole thing in my house. But anyway, you can. And to give an idea of the incredible mastery of this. This is a page that a friend of the family gave me once. That's the real thing. That's not a postcard. What you're looking at right there is maybe 600, 700 years old. What's in under that glass? It's a page from a medieval manuscript. But that's the kind of art that went with these illuminations. Of course, if I had this and it was this, it would be worth tens of thousands of dollars, more maybe. At some point, there's another one from a different series. At some point, I think it was my mother that gave me this, which shows, I've shown this elsewhere in the course, I'm quite sure, which shows many, she knew of my great interest in this. The thing about these is they give you a look into life at that time, a very detailed look. The architecture, how they dressed, what they were doing. And there's a direct connection in my mind between those woodcuts that I saw in Innsbruck of the craftsmen of that time and now these miniature illuminations. I was looking into other worlds, but worlds that did exist and maybe could exist again. Now, they could never exist again. But, I say it's formative, but it's also consistent with what became a lifelong interest of mine is, I want to say, finding a better way. A world not like the modern world that depends so much on vast amounts of energy consumption and engines and motors and post-industrial revolution, but when people lived, it's tempting to say more simply, but I've always objected to that because that was not a simple life. It was complicated. Those people were highly skilled. Well, in any case, if you're interested, if you'll go to Google Images or just type in Très riche uur, very rich hours, and see these images will come up. Or type in Flemish calendar, and there you'll see the images, and you can study them and study them. Well, the internet wasn't there back in my day, so I was delighted to have these postcards. All right, after that, and believe it or not, there's my memory of that's what was formative of my first time ever of being in London. It stands way further than anything else. All right, then it was flying back to New Hampshire to our families. We visited a while, and then we returned to Brazil for our third year. All right, that's the end of that prequel number 3. I am going to give a prequel sequel, and then this whole endeavor will be over. I'll eventually turn my attention to you and your trip and tell you exactly what I think would be good for you to do. Bye for now.